changers. We're talking about changing the game here in the Lehigh Valley. And I'll tell you, someone who is really changing the game, I want to introduce my friend Bob Eggstein, the owner here of the Harley-Davidson, a really brand new dealership. It's gorgeous here. And I want to say, we are so happy to have you right in the heart of the Lehigh Valley. And you're here. Are you glad to be here?
Fantastic to be here. Absolutely fantastic. This was the right move for us. It's where our customers are, and it's not really that far from where we were, but it's almost like light years away.
You know, one of the greatest things that happened, and I tell people all the time, I was lucky enough, I happened to call you and say, hey, if you need any help with anything, and you took a busload of Harley riders, took us up there, and we all grabbed the bike like little kids in a candy store and brought them down, and that's how you got all your bikes here.
Yeah, we didn't have many problems trying to find volunteers for that.
Yeah.
That was an easy one. You know, it's tough finding people to do other stuff, but riding bikes, never a problem.
Look, I know this wasn't easy for you to get here, and that's why I want to make sure I and we all thank you for being here. It was a long haul till you got it up and built and found a spot.
Yeah. We, if you remember, it all started with a lunch meeting with you when we had lunch down at the Italian restaurant by the mall.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned to you that I was thinking of moving because the dealership, which was in Coopersburg, had closed up. And I asked Harley if I could then take that territory, and he said yes. And in that meeting you and I had at the restaurant, you introduced me to Greg Feinberg, Cindy Feinberg, and the way I look at it, it was all those little connections, that network, getting the right people around you, to do the right people to make this thing happen. It was a long haul, but it's so important to have the right people to guide you, to help you, to advise you. All that was so critical to getting to this point.
Yeah, we clicked kind of right away, and I bought a bike. Which I love. I have a beautiful Heritage that I keep in great shape. But what you don't realize too, you kind of every year now we have our annual meeting, and the big deal is how we kick off the meeting. You kind of started because we came out with all the motorcycles one year at the stands.
Yep, that was awesome. And people still talk about that every time I get. That was telling me when I remember he came out, the motorcycles and you guys, and he does all sorts of crazy things. But that's the one that they always talk about.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of noise, a lot of fun. So let's talk about, first of all, I want to talk about you a little bit, Bob, because you're kind of like, I don't know, you're not what when I first met you, I thought, I don't know, you do look like the Harley dealership kind of guy, you get sort of the American look. But how did you get in this business?
So I had been in commercial banking for 25 years. So I spent a lot of time traveling internationally. Most of my time was in New York City. And after 25 years in it, I thought it was time to think about doing something else. It's getting hard, but traveling gets harder after a while. So I looked at a lot of different options, other things that I might want to do, but I always was drawn back to motorcycles. I mean, I had been an enthusiast for forever. However, when I was living at home, my mother didn't want me to have a motorcycle, so I totally went the opposite way and bought a dealership instead. So I got a good friend of mine, his father-in-law was a dealer down in Florida, and I asked him to introduce us and kind of gave him a background of where I was and I wanted to find out what the business was all about. What's the day-to-day operation? How does it run? What are the challenges? What are the risks? All that kind of stuff. And he took me under his wing and introduced me to more people, other dealers, and it was probably a 3-year process of just learning to they would invite me to their dealership, some of the owners, and I would spend a day in their skin.
Yeah.
What are the decisions that they had to do that day? What kind of banking had to happen? What kind of financing? What problems they had and what opportunities they had with Harley-Davidson. So it was invaluable. That time I spent with them. Mm-hmm. So then I got hooked up with other people who were brokers or other dealers who were thinking of selling, and I probably looked at about 10 or 15 other dealerships. So at the time I was living in New Jersey, and that would have been ideal, but it kind of didn't work out in the end. So when the dealership up in Lehigh became available, we were able to work out a deal, and they were an existing dealership. They had been around for probably 30 years. And it just, the stars aligned. I don't think if I was coming out of banking today and tried to do this, I don't think I'd be able to do it. And it was just a window of time, window of opportunity that I was in the right place at the right time. I had the right people with
And for those of you who can't see it, you can't see the whole dealership. Excuse me. And it's incredible the amount of inventory. It's packed with inventory. And so tell me about what's the changes, what's going on in the world of motorcycle. I mean, I'm a traditionalist, the old Harley, a loud Harley, and loving every minute of it. But tell me about where we are now, where you think we're headed.
So I'm sitting on the future right now. This is the electric live wire. This was introduced about 2 years ago. And the traditionalist is more interested in the sound and the pipes and the big heavy pipe.
Yeah.
But this is Harley's foray into let's start bringing in new blood into the market, because we're starting to see the demographic shift. It was getting older. You got more trikes happening, more of the big bikes. But also as we get older, it gets harder to hold these things up. So you're going to see a lot more of this kind of stuff, more of the mid-range cruiser type vehicles that we have a lot of our older customers that if they go to either will go to a trike or they might go to a cruiser.
Yeah.
They can handle it better. They don't want to give up, and they don't want to give up riding, but they want to have options, and that's going to be the future of Harley. You'll see a lot more of that. On top of going into different segments, in the next month you're going to see a new product called the Pan America, which is adventure touring, so off-road kind of bikes. If you're familiar with the BMWs and the KTMs and the Honda Africa, those bikes, it's going to be a whole new customer base for us.
What about electric bikes? Is that what's Harley doing there?
That's this. That's
Okay.
the live wire. We're going to see more of this. This is kind of the entry point into the market, and it's you really have to appreciate what this can do and how it can handle. It's 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
Well, it's funny, if you go overseas like I have often, you don't see the old school Harley, the noise and so on. And I agree, it's only younger people like me that are still riding the two-wheelers. So, but there is a transformation, and the market is getting a little bit older. So it's pretty cool that Harley's making this adaptation. But you said for right now, had to be a tough time during COVID for everyone, you included. You made it through. PPP didn't certainly help, as it did so many businesses. But things are pretty hot right now, going well.
Yeah, people are looking for things to do, and it's brought this resurgence of interest in motorcycling, getting out and by yourself or with a small group of riders just to do some different stuff. It's a lot of fun to, this is the best social distancing you can imagine.
Yeah.
You get out on a motorcycle and you're well behind. So it's, certainly COVID was a challenge for us. It was a challenge for employees. It was a challenge for, doing this in the middle of that pandemic was scary. It was really scary. But, I had made the commitments and we were already, halfway down the road. We had to go the full way and make it happen.
That's the thing I want to make sure that people understand about you and so many small business owners. First of all, making the leap to here was a huge investment. Then COVID came along, and you had to have nights where you had to have sleepless nights.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's you just have to say this is I've done all the due diligence and talked to I feel good about this. This is the right thing, and if you get 80% of the way there, the other 20 is just hoping it kind of works out. So you never have 100% of the decision made, but if you're 80%, I feel pretty comfortable with that.
So Bob, for the people that are watching, I want to cover the economic benefits, how many employees you have, and also if someone's looking for an opportunity, are there opportunities, not necessarily here today, but in terms of, I hear so much, whether it's automobile or motorcycle, in terms of being in the back space, how many people you have here now, and are there opportunities for someone that's watching for the future?
Yeah. So we have about 25 employees right now. We're adding to our sales staff. The biggest challenge for the industry, not only the motorcycle industry, but the car industry, is getting a technician. It's just been a challenge for 5, 6, 7 years, and we're just finding a lot of younger people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So they're off in different directions, but we're looking for we would pay for their education, that kind of stuff, to get them through some of the motorcycle training schools. But that's where the biggest risk is right now. Is that the demographic is getting older, and And you get to 50 years old, it's tough carrying these things around, putting them on lifts, and doing that work. So we're looking to get more of the younger age group into the brand, into the industry, because and that was really the other reason why we came back here, because that's a big plus for us, is that there's a deeper pool of employment base down here, and we've had our pick of salespeople, which we didn't really get up there. There wasn't that many options, but we've just added 3 more people to our sales team. Mm-hmm. Not only to cover the volume, but also because we have the ability to bring the people on, train them, and then once they get into the organization, we can put them elsewhere. Put them in parts, put them in clothing, service.
I hear that from, as you said, from automobile too. People, the technicians, and it's real money. They're willing to pay real money.
Yeah. And it's a great career. I mean, the guys that we have been doing it for 20, 25 years, and they've raised families, they've bought houses, and all that kind of stuff. So it's really good if you're interested in mechanical stuff and motorcycles. Mm-hmm. I mean, what better place is there to do that?
Hey, just for some fun, do you have any crazy stories about someone walking in and buying a couple bikes, or maybe someone you never thought would want a bike, or?
I wouldn't think, it's
you open the door every day, and it's possibilities here.
Well, it's always that. There's a million stories of people coming in the store. I was only just here to buy a hat. I was just coming in to buy gloves, and I couldn't get by that trike. I couldn't get by that, whatever. And the next thing you know, they're in the finance office and they're riding the bike. It happens that quickly, and that's the impulse buy. Our customers are so educated because they've been doing it for so long. They understand the motorcycle, so you really have to be on your game. That's kind of those great stories. The customer comes in, buys the bike, and off they go, and they had a great experience. It's crazy stories. I can't even think of any off the top of my head, but you have that also.
Sure. Well, I get a kick out of it. So I want to get a shirt. I want to get a hat. Yep. And they leave with a $20,000 bike. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's an impulse buy. But again, you talked about that. It's about having fun. And right now, I would think maybe hopefully your spring, summer is going to be pretty good because people want to have they want to be out there outside having fun.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. Harley did something that they've never done before. The new model year had always been in August. Mm-hmm. And just this year with COVID and all, they changed it to January, which the dealers have been wanting for a long time because it coincides with the start of the riding season. Sure. So, when you do it in August, people start to think of other things and not motorcycles. So it really had, coupled with the people wanting to do something, wanting to have fun because they've been locked up. It's the perfect storm.
I would take any one of these. I'll tell you what. Too. Oh, so speaking about the next generation of motorcycle, I'm going to bring in Lauren Spence. She's going to ask you the next generation of rider and what they're looking for. Yeah. So, Lauren Spence, be with us in a minute.
Thanks so much, Tony. Well, we've been having a great show so far, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today, Bob. Thanks so much for having us. We did change locations, so before you could see all the bikes, and now we are in the shop. I'm all decked out in my Harley gear, feeling good, looking the part.
You do.
Thank you for this lovely jacket. I am wondering, if I were to walk in to your store right now and looking for the latest and greatest apparel item for women, where would you point me? Would it be directly to the jacket that I picked out?
Exactly. I would point you to that direction. I'd point you to some of the casual clothing, for jeans and for tops and all that kind of stuff, just to kind of get you into the look.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get the look going.
Got the look going. We're working on it. You got some great items in here. I'm also wondering, so I have only ridden a motorcycle once, and it was actually the back of Tony's motorcycle after a staff event. But if I wanted to shop around and get my own bike, and I've not really experienced driving before, where would you point me? What would be the hottest new bike item for someone my age?
So before I would even point you to anything, I would want you to take a safety course, without a doubt.
Yes.
So the state's going to be reintroducing their rider courses next year, and we're planning on putting a range in here, probably in the back, and that would be the first step. And then I'd probably point you to I mean, anything you want.
The world is
I
the oyster.
wouldn't point you towards the big bikes yet.
Not
You
yet.
have to work on it. So a nice Sportster or maybe the electric live wire. That might be fun.
So we're gonna have to talk after
We'll
this. I like the sound of the Sportster. That sounds good.
Yeah, the Sportster's a nice bike. Yeah, perfect.
And then I'm also curious, from a professional standpoint, you run a very successful business. Do you have any daily habits for success?
I am typically the first one here, so I always like to get in first, kind of get the lay of the land, see what happened yesterday, kind of get the numbers from the day before. Usually I'll go through some emails, that kind of stuff, and get that out of the way, and then I will, when the store opens, that's when I start meeting with all the managers. So I'll go around to every manager, and we have kind of a little top 3 things that we're talking about. What happened in service? What happened in parts? What happened? What's going on? What are goals? Where are you guys in terms of goals? So it's a kind of a stricter process. So I need process, and because we call it the swirl. So when you're in this environment, it's the swirl, because you can have something on your mind that you want to start at 9 o'clock, and customers are coming in, phones are ringing, and then by the time you get to it, it's 3 o'clock. So we always try to kind of set the day with that kind of schedule. Everybody knows that Bob's coming around, so get ready.
Well, that's great advice, and it can certainly be applied to any career in any
Sure.
industry. Bob, you're an amazing business leader. You have a beautiful space here, and we are so grateful for the opportunity to be here, to be with you, and grateful that you chose the Lehigh Valley to open your dealership. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been great. I'm looking forward to the future.
Well, we're looking forward to your grand opening celebration coming up. We're going to be here with the giant ribbon and scissors, so stay tuned for the dates on that. I do also want to just thank you one more time again. Do you have any parting thoughts that you would like to share with our viewers today?
I would just say that this has been a labor of love for me, and the support that I've gotten not only from the riding community but from the business community and the chamber has been just outstanding. I think everybody wants to be part of something exciting like this, and it's good to have that to come to the Lehigh Valley, and it's just been, although it took a long time to get down here, there weren't a lot of obstacles that we couldn't overcome, and it's been a great run so far. So we're looking forward to the next 10 years.
Well, we're looking forward to having you for the next 10 years and beyond. Bob, thank you so much once again today. To our viewers at home, we hope you enjoyed this installment of Game Changers. Be sure to stay tuned on the Chamber's Facebook and social media pages for updates on our latest episodes. And of course, make sure you mark your calendar. We will be back here on Saturday, May 15th at 10 a.m. for a grand opening celebration. We'll be kicking it off with a ribbon cutting right at 10. But then there's going to be entertainment, food trucks, giveaways, the works. So you do not want to miss this. Again, Saturday, May 15th at 10 a.m. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks so much for tuning in.